All right, get ready, because today's deep dive, well, it's going to be a little different.
Yeah, a little more on the fun side.
Right, exactly. We're diving into 50 silly journal prompts.
I think everyone can relate to journaling.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But these prompts, they're really unique. They come from a blog post by Lestallion.
And they sell journals, right?
Yeah, they make journals, so it's almost like they're saying, hey, buy our journal and then use these prompts.
It's a good marketing tactic.
It is. And I mean, who doesn't love a good journal prompt?
Especially silly ones.
Exactly.
Because, we always think of journaling as being so serious.
Oh, absolutely. Deep thoughts, introspection.
Yeah, all that heavy stuff. But this is like the opposite.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, let loose, have some fun, be creative.
Okay, so let's get into some of these prompts, because some of them are just wild.
Oh, yeah, they're out there.
Like, okay, imagine this. You're a rubber duck.
Okay, I'm a rubber duck.
But you still have to go to work.
That's tricky.
Right. How would that even work?
Yeah, how do you type? How do you commute?
Exactly. So it makes you think outside the box.
It really does. You have to get creative to solve those problems.
And then there's this one where you're at a party.
Okay, I like parties.
But all your clothes are invisible.
Oh,
no.
Awkward.
Right. That's a whole other level of vulnerability.
It is, yeah. Like, how do you even act in that situation?
Yeah. Do you even notice?
And it really makes you think about how we present ourselves to the world.
Right, like what makes us feel confident.
And then there are some that are just pure fun, like imagine living in a world made entirely of marshmallows.
Whoa.
That's a sticky situation.
You'd have to rethink everything. Houses, transportation, everything.
Exactly. But it's that kind of thinking that can spark some really creative ideas.
You're absolutely right. It's all about adaptability, right?
Yeah.
You have to figure out how to thrive in this marshmallow world.
Exactly. It's like a mental workout for your imagination.
I love it. And it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. And then some of these prompts, they're like the start of a whole story. Oh, like a movie plot.
Yes. Like having dinner with your favorite fictional characters.
Okay, interesting.
But you're serving them the weirdest food combinations you can think of?
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Right. Like, what would Sherlock Holmes think of peanut butter and pickle sandwiches?
I don't know, but that's the fun of it, right? We get to imagine these scenarios and let our creativity run wild.
Exactly. It's like fan fiction meets Master Chef.
I love it.
And it's not all just fun and games, right?
Yeah.
There are real benefits to doing these exercises.
Oh, for sure. When we're laughing and playing, our minds are more relaxed.
So it's easier to think outside the box.
Exactly. And that can lead to some amazing insights.
And these prompts really encourage that kind of playful thinking.
Yeah, and they help us to see things from different perspectives.
Like there's one where you have to imagine life as an animal.
Oh, wow.
Or switch loves with a cartoon character.
That's such a cool way to build empathy, right?
Exactly. You start to understand different points of view.
It broadens your horizons, I guess you could say.
And it's, like you said, it's not just about understanding other people. It's about understanding ourselves, too.
Oh, absolutely. Like there's one prompt where you have to imagine your shoes are telling terrible jokes.
I love that one.
It's so silly, but it makes you think about finding humor in unexpected places.
Right. Like even the most mundane objects can be funny if you look at them the right way.
Exactly. And some of these prompts, I swear they could be the start of a comedy sketch.
Oh, totally. Like the one where a sandwich comes to life.
Then it becomes like a movie star?
I know, right? What kind of sandwich would it be?
Maybe like a BLT,
A BLT action hero.
Saving the world one crunchy bite at a time.
I can see it now, the BLT battling a villainous, moldy loaf of bread.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
That's right. But it's these kinds of outlandish scenarios that can really get your imagination going.
They push you to think beyond the obvious.
And some of them even make you think about society in a new way.
Oh yeah, like the one where you're the mayor of a town where everyone wears fruit hats.
That's a good one.
It's funny to picture, but it also makes you think about conformity and individuality.
Right. Like, what if you're the only person who doesn't want to wear a fruit hat?
Exactly. You become the odd one out.
And then there's that prompt about time traveling to the most boring days in history.
Oh, man. Talk about a challenge.
Right. Like, how do you find excitement in the most mundane moments?
But that's the point, right? It's about finding the extraordinary in the ordinary.
And realizing that even boring days can be interesting if you look at them the right way.
It's all about perspective.
Okay, I have to ask about this one. What would you show aliens to convince them to visit Earth?
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
The prompt says to highlight ridiculously impractical things.
Let me think. Maybe I'd show them like a collection of those really elaborate Rube Goldberg machines.
You know, the ones that do something simple in the most complicated way possible?
Exactly. Or maybe like a performance of interpretive dance about, I don't know, the history of tax law.
That's amazing. The aliens would be so confused.
Right. But that's what makes it funny.
It's like we're showing them all the weird and wonderful things about humanity.
Exactly. And I think that's what these prompts are all about.
What do you mean?
They're about embracing our inner child.
That sense of wonder and playfulness that we often lose as adults?
Exactly. These prompts give us permission to be silly and imaginative.
And that's so important, I think.
It is, because when we allow ourselves to play, we open our minds to new possibilities.
And it's not just about being creative, right? It's about well-being, too.
Oh, absolutely. Laughter and playfulness, those are natural stress relievers.
So it's like we're giving our brains a break.
Exactly. We get so caught up in the serious stuff sometimes.
Oh, for sure. And then there's a prompt in here about a YouTube channel dedicated to rating different types of clouds. It's so wonderfully absurd.
I love that one. It's like finding beauty in the everyday things we often take for granted.
Yeah. And then there's that one where you write a letter to your younger self.
Oh, I remember that one. But
Yeah.
there's a twist, right?
You have to include made-up facts about the future.
Well, that's right. Like what? Flying cars powered by hamsters.
Exactly. Or maybe I'd tell my younger self that everyone communicates through telepathy, but only using emojis.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
It's such a fun way to think about how our perceptions of the future change over time.
And to let our imaginations run wild.
Right. And, as we've been talking about these prompts, it's really struck me how many of them make you question the things we normally just accept.
Oh, totally. Like that prompt where your clothes choose what you wear for the day.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Right. But it also makes you think about why we wear what we wear.
And how much control we really have over our own choices.
It's like a fun way to explore those deeper questions.
Exactly. Or the prompt about what would happen if gravity took a day off.
Oh, wow. Floating to work.
That would be interesting.
Right. And it makes you appreciate the simple things like being able to walk without floating away.
Okay, before we go, I have to share one more prompt. Imagine a world where chocolate grows on trees.
Oh, my dream come true.
And everyone rides giant pigeons.
That's a world I want to live in.
Right. It's just pure silliness, but it's also incredibly creative.
And inspiring.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into these 50 silly journal prompts,
It's clear that they're more than just silly, right?
they're tools for thinking differently, problem solving, building empathy.
And having fun.
They remind us not to take ourselves too seriously.
And to embrace that sense of wonder that we all have inside.
Absolutely. So if you're looking for a way to spark your creativity, relieve some stress, and just have a good laugh, give these silly journal prompts a try.
You might be surprised at what you discover.
And remember, you don't need a fancy journal or any special tools to get started.
Just grab a notebook and a pen and let your imagination soar.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of silly journal prompts. Until next time, keep those creative juices flowing. And remember to always embrace the power of silliness.